In My Hero Academia Vigilantes, many characters possess unconventional or seemingly useless quirks that differ from the flashy, combat-oriented abilities seen in the main series. This emphasis on odd quirks serves to highlight the crackheads in the MHA world, from characters that flash their chest hair as their main quirk to Thomas the Choo-Choo Train. It's safe to say that Horikoshi didn't lack any creativity when writing the spin-off series. That being said, in this video, I'll be diving into the most bizarre quirks in My Hero Academia Vigilantes. With approximately 45 quirks featured in the spin-off series, I'll be narrowing it down to the 9 strangest ones, breaking down their abilities and any intriguing lore tied to them. Coming in at number 9 is a quirk called Dragon Breath, used by Drunk Lee. This character is often found in a grunge underground fight club, where he uses his quirk to blow fire at his opponents. However, for his quirk to activate, he must drink alcohol, resulting in severe hangovers after each use. Interestingly, some fans speculate that Drunk Lee could be Deku's long-lost father, due to his fire-breathing ability and alcoholic tendencies. At number 8 is the quirk Playtime, wielded by a seemingly ordinary salaryman named Mario Kugutsu. He first appears after Knuckle Duster confronts him for acting suspiciously. As he falls, a few action figures of All Might and Endeavor spill out of his briefcase. However, these aren't just toys. They're actually trigger needles, suggesting that Mario is supplying them to local villains. Before Knuckle Duster can act, Mario injects himself with pure trigger, transforming into a massive four-armed whatever this thing is, who mindlessly plays with everything around him. At number 7 is a quirk called Pointer, wielded by a wholesome hero known as Pointer Kid, who is now well past his prime. His quirk allows him to locate people, places, or things by spinning on his foot and pointing in 3 directions. Despite its seemingly limited combat utility, Pointer Kid uses his quirk to assist in search and rescue operations, pinpointing endangered civilians to guide other heroes to their locations. However, the mechanics of this quirk leads to more questions, like how far can he sense? Can he point in 4 directions if he spins on his back? Pointer Kid's story takes a dark turn when he crosses paths with number 6, who deceives him by posing as an investigator. Pointer Kid uses his quirk to help, unaware that he's aiding the very villain responsible for a string of hero murders. When he realizes the truth, number 6 manipulates him, suggesting that Koichi may be the culprit. But Pointer Kid, having seen Koichi help people in the past, refuses to believe it. Using his quirk, he pinpoints the real killer as number 6. Unable to let his identity be exposed, number 6 drags Pointer Kid into an alley, calling him an opportunistic scumbag, and cruelly suggesting his family should suffer. Pointer Kid, emphasizing that his family means everything to him, meets a tragic fate. The last we see of him is his disembodied hand, still pointing defiantly in number 6's direction. At number 6 is a quickly shown quirk named Gigantic Spinning Turtle. It's exactly what it sounds like, a big ass turtle that spins. But there's more to it than that. It can also fly. It doesn't seem to cause any harm to anyone, but does inherently cause destruction to property because of its massive size. Captain Celebrity then proceeds to smack it and spins it on his finger while taking a business call like a Chad. At number 5 is a quirk called Swan, wielded by an eccentric unnamed gooner. This quirk grants him 2 massive wings that allow him to fly, but there's a trade-off. He has to remove his shirt for the wings to emerge. While he doesn't technically need to remove his pants, he chooses to do so anyways, using his flights as a twisted opportunity to flash unsuspecting people below, traumatizing anyone unlucky enough to look up. And his signature move, of course, is a dramatic freefall, where he exposes himself to everyone beneath him and nuts all over. Knuckle Duster eventually puts an end to his antics by tying him up with some well-placed bondage and presumably doing things to his butthole, but we can't talk about that. Coming in at number 4 is my personal favorite quirk, Control Horn, wielded by the one and only Cow Cowboy. This quirky ability lets him mind control cows, and he once even threatened to take over an entire province using his cow army. And let's just say, he's definitely not lacking any hoes. But there's a drawback to his quirk. If one of his horns is detached from his head, he loses control over the cows. We see this in action when All Might cuts off a horn, bringing his cattle rampage to a halt. At number 3, we have the chaotic Monster Cat quirk. It all begins when Quinn Hachisuka drops her cat onto a tour bus, the very same bus that Koichi is riding. She then commands one of her bees to inject the cat with trigger, unleashing a wave of chaos throughout the city. As Monster Cat wreaks havoc, Knuckle Duster steps in, cleverly baiting it with a cat toy and steering it toward a dead end. Meanwhile, Ingenium arrives on the scene, racing to rescue as many passengers as possible with the help of Enigma. But Quinn isn't done yet. Frustrated by the hero's interference, she injects her cat with a second dose of trigger, escalating the threat. In a desperate chase, Koichi manages to save the last remaining passenger, narrowly escaping the rampaging cat. The cat manages to detach from the bus, free falling off of a cliff. Coming in at number 2, we have a tie between two bizarre quirks, Tank Engine and Diesel Engine. I've grouped them together because they share similar functions and are equally strange. Both quirks give their users a train-like appearance, complete with steam-blowing abilities and locomotive features. The first character, Tommy S. Gordon, is clearly a nod to Thomas the Tank Engine, making it pretty obvious where Horikoshi drew his inspiration. And for the second user, Diesel Engine, we can safely assume Horikoshi got inspired by a different character in Thomas the Choo Choo Train. And finally, claiming the number 1 spot for the weirdest quirk in MHA Vigilantes is chest hair. This character feels like he stepped straight out of a JoJo episode, yet somehow found his way into the MHA universe. His quirk is still somewhat of a mystery, but one thing's certain, it's sexy as hell, boy. Designed as a blend of Prince and Giovanni, this guy is actually Midnight's mentor, so it's no surprise he exudes charisma and straight zestiness. While we don't know exactly what his quirk does, he definitely isn't lacking in strength. In one standout moment, he effortlessly high kicks a safe thrown by the robber villain to protect Eraserhead, doing so with finesse. He ends the encounter by striking a goated troll face.